So let's take a look at production insights. This focuses on capturing your production data, increasing visibility, and providing actionable insights. Having this sort of data allows your team to make faster and better decisions based on real production data rather than intuition. The application focuses on three core things: data capture, performance analytics, and shift management. Let's take a look. So let's start by taking a look at the factory overview page. Here we're going to see at a glance how the factory is performing. So we just see each of these tiles representing a different line in your site, and then some customizable KPIs that you can show or hide depending on what it is you want to see. Here we're just seeing the live graph over the last 8 hours on this line, the current status, and some OEE figures. But let's click into a line to see it in a bit more detail. So if I click into bottling line number 1 here, I can see the live page. This is live dynamic data coming through about how your production is performing. So here we're again getting that chart in a bit more detail, showing the fluctuating speed on your line. Some basic at a glance KPIs here in terms of how many units you've produced, what scrap you've had, what your value adding time. And you can look at this at a time level, such as 8 hours here. You can also look at a batch or shift specifically if you'd like to see that in more detail. But let's look at the last 24 hours as an example. You can see immediately the data updates to show you that 24-hour period. So that's the live performance of how it's actually happening. But let's take a look at some of our downtime we've had in the last 24 hours. We can come to this analytics page here where we're going to see a very quick and easy visualization of our downtime. So here we see it color categorized depending on how you categorize your downtime. And we can see here in unplanned downtime lost during operation, we've had 91 instances accounting for 245 minutes of downtime. If we click into that, we can see it in a bit more detail, telling that a product jam has been the biggest issue on this line, happening 70 times, costing 100 minutes. So very quickly, without needing to go looking for it, you can just see what your biggest issues have been and get attribution to just how big each issue actually is for you. Moving to the OEE page, looking at the last 24 hours, we're going to get these 4 categories of OEE broken down by the different types of stops that we mentioned earlier. You're going to get your total capacity utilization of the line, your OEE3, which takes into account all 3 color codes of stop, OEE2, which just takes into account yellow and red, and OEE1, which only looks at your unplanned downtime. So you're going to get these breakdowns of OEE that shows you where exactly in your process you're losing the most percentages of efficiency. We can also take a look at some of our live dashboards here. So if I pull up the shift dashboard, I can see a real-time performance of how this line is performing. And a lot of our customers will actually have this on a television above the line. So at a glance, you can see the line is running. It has been in that state for the last 11 minutes. There's been 1 unregistered stop so far in this shift. And this black line here represents where they should be in terms of units produced by each timestamp in order to be on target. And we can see based on the fact it was green here, they were ahead of target. And then due to some issue here, they have fallen behind target. So it gives you that at a glance performance. Rather than looking back at historical data, you can actually act in real time based on what you see here.